Hello and welcome to the Toyota AFL Dream Team show. I'm Nat Edwards and there's only 13 more sleeps till season 2011 kicks off, and I'm joined in the studio by a very special guest, 5-time premiership player and 4-time premiership coach, Leigh Matthews. Leigh, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Nat. Good to be here.
Excellent. Now, of course, you've got the coaching credentials down pat, but do they translate when it comes to Dream Team?
Probably not. I mean, we all have our philosophies. I mean, clearly we've got a salary cap, and that's what the Dream Team's all about. So you actually got to get your 33 players within the salary cap, but within that you have your philosophies, I guess, of players that you go with that are proven performers, and the in-betweeners who you hope have got another gear in them, and of course the first-year player cheapies to make up the numbers to a degree.
Exactly. Now, we're going to reveal your team in just a moment, which you've worked very hard on. But what was your strategy going into this year of Dream Team when you were picking your team?
Well, first and foremost, you got your half a dozen high-priced players. I mean, I went for Goddard and Swan as my sort of keys. Yep. In other words, really high-priced, but they're just proven performers. I actually have left Gary Ablett out and Joel Selwood, who I had last year, because one, I don't think Gary's going to be able to get the same numbers at the Gold Coast Suns. And I don't think the Geelong is going to flip the ball around as much and get as high numbers as they did last year. And there'll be more pressure with Ablett not there on your Selwood and on your Chapmans and Bartel. So I guess that was. So I left the Geelong midfielders out to a degree. But apart from that, Pendlebury and Thomas, I think they're good players who I think have got an extra gear in them potentially. So you look at the high price, the mediums, and obviously the first-year types.
All right, well, let's take a look. We'll start in defence, and we'll take a look now at your defenders. I mean, you've got Brendan Goddard, who is absolutely fantastic. He averaged 113 last year. What about Easton Wood? That's a bit of a unique pick.
Well, there you get into the Nathan Crackers, Easton Wood, Andrew Otten. Easton Wood is a young guy that it looks like he might be able to become a regular good player for the Bulldogs. I mean, Ottens was injured last year, so he's a good player, I think, coming back from that knee injury. So they're value picks. It's a value for dollar with Crackers in that category. Grimes a bit in that category. And Heppel, of course, is the first-year player. So you get into the keys, which is Goddard and Fisher, and then value for dollars after that.
On the bench, yeah, you've got Josh Toy there for the Gold Coast, so that's a good pick-up.
Well, he's first year, and the other two are they're mature age, so therefore I think they might play a lot first up with both Carlton and Essendon.
Now, looking at your midfielders, as you said before, you've got 3-star Collingwood premiership midfielders there in Swan, Pendlebury and Thomas. Very good selection.
Well, the proven ones. I mean, Dane Swan just gets so much of the football. He scores so well. Boyd is just the same.
Yep.
Pendlebury is high priced, but I think he might be even better. You suspect he might even have a more elite level to come. And Thomas a bit the same. Scully's your second-year player, who I think can find something. And Josh Kendi, I mean, he was magnificent in his first year at the Swans last year, so I think he's potentially got better to come. Harris will play regularly for the Gold Coast, so I think he's good value. Swallow and Vanilla. I think you always can't miss by probably putting the first, second, third picks in the draft the year before into your Dream Team.
Are you confident those Gold Coast players there on the bench will be able to cover you when Collingwood have the bye-in? I think it's round 7 they have a bye-in, so those 3 will miss.
I haven't factored in buys at this point of time.
So you haven't thought that far ahead.
I'm thinking a week at a time. I'm just getting
ahead of myself.
My first up team in place.
All right, well, let's look at your rucks, because a lot of people, of course, are going with Aaron Sandilands and maybe a Patrick Ryder combination, but you've gone a very unique combination.
Well, only because I haven't put a lot of money into my rucks. I'm thinking Mitch Clark. Eventually, I think the Brisbane Lions might realise he's an All-Australian ruckman, and they'll start playing him in the ruck. That's what I'm punting. Anyway, I'll put it. Roughhead, I think, is just a young guy on the way through. I think he'll ruck regularly for the Bulldogs this year. And Fraser and Smith will both play every week. I mean, Fraser's the experience proven, and young Zach Smith is the young developing ruckman.
Yeah, and he's very highly touted as well. Lots of talk about him. Let's look at your forwards. Nick Riewoldt, of course, is very underpriced there. He's great value under 400k.
Yeah, I must say with my forwards, I mean, Nick's always a good player. He missed a lot of footy last year, as we know, but he's always just a terrific player, the best of the running big talls. And then Riewoldt. Pettard was going really well, got injured last year, so that's why maybe he's a little lower.
Robbie Gray as well, he had some injury concerns
I often go for the guys in Petrie, the guys that were injured last year, and therefore you're punting that they're going to be fit and well. So Hurley to me he's a third-year player. I think Hurley could be the next Riewoldt even. I just love the look of him at this stage of his career. And Gamble, at least he'll play regularly for St Kilda, you'd think, as that third tall, and the others are young first years from the Gold Coast.
And the other upside about Hurley is he's a dual position player, so he can be played in defence or forward, which is very handy for Dream Team.
I think he's an average defender, but can be a fantastic running centre-half forward, which is exactly what Essendon are using him with so far in 2011.
Now, is this your final team, or will there be a couple of changes and tweaks just before round one?
Oh no, you've got to get your final team in the Friday before round one. So all we're doing up until then is you get your first team, your second. This is probably only my second draft. I'll have a look at it another couple of times before round one to get that's your starting lineup at least for the season.
Fantastic. Well, for all those people who haven't registered their dream teams yet, you must get on to dreamteam.afl.com.au and pick your team, you pick your colours and pick your players, and you've got to be in it to win it. Of course, the Toyota FJ Cruiser is what is at stake, as well as bragging rights among all your mates. Thanks so much for joining us, Leigh. It was a pleasure having a look at your dream team.
Thanks, Nat.
No worries. And don't forget, the weekly AFL Toyota Dream Team show will kick off on Wednesday, the 23rd of March, which is the eve of round one. And we look forward to seeing you then.